Welcome to Cozy Story Lounge. Let me tell you a story. It was early afternoon, and neither of them had any real reason to move. Carmen and Devin were sprawled across the bed, pillows everywhere, the kind of lazy day that just begged for foolishness. That's exactly what they delivered. It started, like most of their arguments, over absolutely nothing and everything at the same time. Carmen propped herself up on her elbow and looked at Devin like he had just said the most outrageous thing she'd ever heard in her life. Because as far as she was concerned, he had. "There is no way you've seen more movies than me," she said, shaking her head slowly. "It's just no way." Devin didn't even flinch. He laced his fingers behind his head and stared at the ceiling with the cool confidence of a man who fully believed what he was about to say. "I'm telling you, I am the ultimate movie buff. I know all the movies. I've seen them all." Carmen let out a laugh that said she was not the least bit impressed. "Boy, stop lying. I've seen more movies than you. I'm the one with the actual collection." "Please," Devin said, waving her off. "That don't mean anything. All those old DVDs you still got piled up in the back room." Carmen pointed at him like he had just made her case for her. "Exactly." Devin turned to look at her with a grin spreading across his face. "That just makes you a hoarder. That doesn't make you a movie buff." He laughed at his own joke, which was all the invitation Carmen needed. She started slapping at him playfully, going after his arm, his shoulder, whatever she could reach. "Oh, shut up," she said, still laughing in spite of herself. "I didn't hear all that when you had your boys here from Cali. Remember? You didn't have a single thing to watch. You had to go digging through my so-called dusty movie collection just to find something." Devin held up a hand in his defense. "That's only because it was literally an unexpected hurricane outside. There was no cable or internet. We had no choice." Carmen sat up straighter because she felt a point coming on, and she needed her full posture behind it. "Yeah, but my movie collection saved the day, right? Don't lie. I saved you and your friends from boredom." Devin paused just long enough to be annoying about it. Nah, I wouldn't say all that," he said slowly, laughing again. Carmen stared at him. "You know what? You are so not fair. But whatever. It's to be expected." Devin looked at her with that sideways smile she both loved and couldn't stand. "So what? You mad now? You want me to say thank you?" "Yes," Carmen said, laughing now despite her best efforts to stay firm. "Yes, damn it. Give me my credit." "Yeah? All right. I got your credit." Before she could respond, he was on her, fingers going straight for her sides, tickling her non-stop. Carmen dissolved into laughter immediately, twisting and grabbing at his hands, completely helpless. Stop it," she managed between gasps. Okay, truce. "Say it," Devin said, still going. "Say I'm the ultimate movie buff." "Never," she squealed. "I will never say that." They finally collapsed against each other, out of breath and still giggling. Carmen grabbed the nearest pillow and launched it directly at his head. He caught it without even looking, which was somehow the most irritating part, and casually tucked it behind his neck. Carmen shook her head, reaching for the remote on the nightstand. "You play too much." Devin glanced over at her, smiling in that quiet way he had. "You love it, though." She rolled her eyes, but she was smiling too, and they both knew it. She clicked on the TV and settled back against him. "I'm putting on a movie, and I'm picking," she said. Devin's hand was already moving toward the remote. "Oh no, baby girl. We are watching something from my list." Carmen slowly turned to look at him. "Your list? Devin, you don't even have a list." And just like that, they were back at it. The two of them going back and forth, filling up the quiet afternoon with noise and laughter, neither one really trying to win, both of them perfectly content right where they were. They had both drifted off sometime in the early afternoon, tangled up in the warmth of the room and the comfort of each other. But a couple of hours later, Carmen stirred first. She slipped out of bed quietly, got herself together, and stepped into the shower. By the time she was dressed and moving around the kitchen, she had already decided that dinner would be ready and waiting whenever Devin finally opened his eyes. That's just how she was about him. An hour or so passed before she heard the familiar sound of his footsteps coming down the hall. "Well, look who rose from the dead," she called out, not even turning around from the stove. Devin shuffled into the kitchen, looking every bit of someone who had just crawled out of a deep sleep. He squinted against the light. "What time is it?" 7 o'clock. He stopped walking. "I've been sleeping that long." Carmen gave him a look over her shoulder that said yes, and that she had very much let him. He ran a hand over his face and leaned against the doorframe, finally noticing what she had going on at the stove. "What you over there cooking?" "Some dinner," she said simply. "I tried to ask you what you wanted before I started, but you were completely gone. Couldn't get a word out of you." Devin eased his way across the kitchen toward her, with a slow smile creeping onto his face. "I don't know why you even bother asking me that when you already know what my favourite thing to eat is." He wrapped his arms around her waist from behind and leaned down, pressing a playful kiss against her stomach. Carmen laughed and elbowed him gently. "Unfortunately, I am not enough calories for you, so you need actual food." He stood up and kissed her on the lips instead, softer this time. "All right, if you say so." He released her and stretched. "I'm gonna hop in the shower real quick. I'll be right back." "All right, baby." She turned back to the stove. "I love you." Devin was already heading out of the kitchen. "You better." Carmen caught it immediately. Excuse me?" "Love you too, babe," he called back, laughing from down the hall. She shook her head, smiling, and kept cooking. Dinner came and went, easy and comfortable, the way evenings between them usually were. Afterward, Carmen moved to the sink to handle the dishes, while Devin settled onto the couch and clicked on the news, catching up on everything he'd slept through. "Did my mum call while I was asleep?" Devin asked, already scrolling through his phone. Carmen thought about it for a second. "I'm not sure. I doubt it, though. You know how she is. If she can't reach you, she starts blowing up my phone next." She paused. "Which I ignore." Carmen laughed to herself and went back to the dishes. Devin went back to his phone, still shaking his head jokingly. He scrolled through his missed calls and landed on something that made him sit up a little. 3 missed calls from Brian. He hit the name without hesitating. "Hi, Brian. What's up, man?" He leaned back, relaxed. Whatever he expected the call to be, it wasn't what it turned out to be. His whole body shifted within seconds. "No, I'm cool actually. Just here chilling with my lady. What's up?" He listened. They did what? Carmen's hands slowed in the sink. Shut the whole department down. Your department. She turned off the water. Seriously? When? Today? He stood up from the couch now, pacing. What are you saying to me right now? Another pause, and then his voice dropped. The room felt different. Hey, man, look, that's better than nothing, right? As messed up as it is, that's better than nothing. He nodded, listening again. All right. Call me back ASAP, no matter the time. He hung up and stood there for a second before Carmen appeared next to him. What's going on with Brian? Carmen thought that phone call was the biggest problem that day. But she had no idea what was waiting for her next.